Hello, my name is Bradley Richardson, and today I'm going to talk to you about ultrasonic testing. What is ultrasonic testing? It is not the kind that most people think of when they hear ultrasound, which is a pregnant woman in a hospital getting an ultrasound. This is completely different than that, although they are the same concept. Ultrasound uses the reflection of sound to find defects. Basically, what this means is if you send sound into an object and there is something blocking that sound, it will reflect back to the instrument and tell you exactly where this discontinuity is located in the piece of material. Ultrasonic testing is often referred to as UT. It is one of the most commonly used non-destructive methods, along with radiography, magnetic particle, liquid penetrant. Even visual testing is a method of non-destructive testing. Ultrasound is used in almost every industry. It is very prominent in oil and pipeline industries. This is due to the fact that oil and pipeline companies do not want their welds breaking and losing millions and millions of dollars in oil. So they bring in UT companies to UT their wells to make sure that there's no chance of these wells breaking. Nuclear companies also benefit from the use of UT. If you ever noticed, most nuclear companies use radiography for their testing. The downfall of this is you have to clear the area in order to do this. UT can come in and do it while work is being done. Today, though, I will only talk about the uses in the automotive industry, which is where I'm most familiar with UT. UT in automotive only uses the straight beam method. This is because the MIG welds on cars do not have enough let off on the side to allow for angle beam testing to be performed. You check for inconsistencies in resistance welds, or spot welds as some people call them. Spot welds are very small welds, and basically you are checking for undersized, cold welds, porosity, or any other defect that can be visible in the resistance weld. This saves thousands of dollars a year over destructive methods. I'll talk more about the savings on this later on in this video, but I can tell you that it is substantial the amount of money you can save by switching over to UT. Now a little bit about the testing unit for UT testing. When testing with UT, whatever unit you're using, you will have to interpret an A scan. Some units have B scans, C scans, and D scans. An A scan is basically a bunch of wavelengths that you must interpret. If you're using a B scan, you'll get a side view. A C scan, you get a top view. And a D scan is very similar to a C scan, except you can actually see more in depth where the reflector lies. The x-axis of the screen will display the range which you can adjust depending on the thickness of your specimen. The y-axis is the signal amplitude of the reflector. So basically, depending on your specimen, you can adjust wherever you need to be. In automotive, we use millimeters, but in this video, I'm going to use inches as an example. If the range is set at 5 inches and the thickness of the specimen is 1 inch, then the reflection will be at 1 inch range. But you also have to remember is it's going to be in increments of 0.5 because the range will always be 10 lines. So 5 inches is 10 lines divided by 2, and that will bring it down to 0.5 per line, which would be 1 inch would be at the second line on the range. Now for an example of UT of resistance welding. If the resistance weld is joining two sheets of metal together that are a total thickness of 3 millimeters, and the A scan is reading 1 millimeter, then you would know that the two sheets of metal are not bonded. This is referred to as a cold weld, meaning there is nothing holding the two sheets together. Now we are back to the savings that UT can save your company if you switch to UT. If one part costs $80 to build and you perform a destructive test on this part once a week, you would spend $4,160 a year on just this one part. My company has 50 parts ranging from $3 to $100. Destruct costs were over $100,000 before I implemented UT. This is the easiest way to get your company to see that UT is a great method to try switching over to. Simply because everyone likes to save money. No one wants to flush money down the drain. So if you switch to UT, there's a very good chance that you could save your company a whole lot of money. So in closing, UT is growing more and more every day. It is amazing how far UT has come over the past 6 years that I've been doing it. I went from using tiny machines that could barely pick up anything to using machines that could pick up something the size of a needle. Now there's so many different types of UT to use. It really just depends on what you're wanting to look for. You could go with the basic A scan readings, B scan, C scan, phased array, or even time of flight. Every industry is starting to switch over to UT because it is the preferred method to go to save money. Some people are still non-believers. I once was a non-believer too, but once I started actually using UT and figuring out how it works, that changed the way I look at things. What I always tell people now who do not believe in UT is, how do you find a stud in your wall? If you go down knocking on your wall, when you get to a stud, it makes a different sound than if there isn't a stud behind it. This is very similar to how UT works. You are going to find the flaw in the part simply based on that sound reflection. You can hear the sound, but that doesn't mean that it isn't there. All I can say about UT is trust me, it works. Thank you for your time.